From the TLV1 studios in Tel Aviv, Israel, it's Louis Live. That's just me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. It's Tuesday night here in Tel Aviv, Israel. It's Louis Live coming at you at TLV1.fm. We have a great show tonight. Maor Hatuel, who is a fencing champion, an Israeli fencing champion that won the gold, will be on in about 10 minutes. Moshe, Ponte, the president of Israel Judo, to talk about Yarden Gerby's 6th Israeli championship, Adam Davis, much more. But we're going to get things started in the world of Israel football. As you know, we've been covering the story for months. The Dimona Diamond, Yossi Benayoun, is he going to play this year? Is he not? Is he coming back to Israel? Is he not? To answer all these questions is our football expert, Mark Gordon. Mark, welcome to Louis Live and TLV1.
Good evening, and how are you?
I'm doing great, and it looks like we're going to finally get some type of conclusion to the story, at least some answers. Where is Yossi going to be playing this season?
Okay, 6 months after lifting the UEFA Cup and finishing his contract with Chelsea, Yossi Benayoun has finally found a club.
All right.
He was offered a chance to be the only Israeli playing in one of the top 4 leagues, Spain, Italy, Germany, or Britain.
And by the way, before you tell us what club he goes to, tell us why it took so long for him to be signed.
Well, I think like most Israeli footballers, he was shopping himself around for the best deal. He thought there was, another large contract. He's 33. In terms of football, very few footballers carry on past 36. So this was really going to be his last contract. And I think he was looking for a 2-3 year deal, paying a significant amount of money. So he spent the last 6 months shopping himself around to every club that he could. But he didn't really want.
Did he end up costing himself money by doing that? Did he give up on a better deal in the end?
Potentially, because he didn't play football for 6 months.
Right.
And also, with him not playing, doubts start to rise about whether a player is fit enough. Yossi hasn't played for 6 months. You need to be in training 2-3 weeks to get yourself match fit. Also, he was very much, I'm Yossi Benayoun. I don't need to prove my fitness to you. Do you want me or not?
Right.
And most clubs in the end decided, we're not going to take this sort of risk. He had an offer to play for Malaga, who are in the Spanish top division. He also had an offer at another club called Getafe in that division. But both of them wanted to come and prove his fitness. And in the end, he didn't. It boiled down to a week ago, he had an offer from 2 clubs in the Championship, which is the division below the Premier League. Leicester, who are currently top of the Championship, and Queen's Park Rangers, who were relegated from the Premier League last year, a London-based team who I think are now second in the Championship.
All right. Now, the whole proving his fitness thing, how rare is that a player won't prove his fitness when a club offers him a pretty good contract?
Well, I think with a lot of players, they'll finish the season at the end of June. There's a transfer window for players between July and August that are in contract. Players out of contract they can sign whenever they want. But usually, they're on the summer holidays. They'll come in, they'll do a quick fitness test. They'll be seen by a medic, and then they'll be signed before the end of August. Yossi decided to carry on playing the market. And the fact that A, he's injury prone, and B, he hadn't been at a club for 6 months meant it was a very, very crucial thing for the club to test, especially with a player looking for as much money as he was looking for.
It kind of sounds like the actor in the Hollywood movie that doesn't want to audition for the part. He says, I'm a name, I'm big enough, you have to take me without auditioning. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, and if you look back on his career, he's been at Chelsea, he's been at Arsenal, he's been at Liverpool. He has been at the biggest clubs in Britain. He does have a history, but in all of the time he was there, he was very much out with injury, for 15, 20 games a season. There were doubts about him wherever he went. He usually ended up being fit for the last third of the season and the beginning third would miss the middle. Maybe it was the cold weather in Britain. But,
yeah.
he is an extremely talented player. And for a club at the right level, he brings that extra bit of skill. He doesn't have the pace anymore, and I think the injuries have slowed him down. And one of the things when he first came to Britain and he played to West Ham, he had that extra yard of pace where he could get around other players. And that's gone. So, either he had to drop the level he was playing at or, he had to get really fit.
All right, we speak with Mark Gordon here on Louis Live on TLV1. Mark, we've built up the suspense for a few minutes now. Now you can tell us, where will Yossi be playing this season?
Right, Yossi will be playing at Queen's Park Rangers,
Wow.
who were relegated last season. They're owned by a Malaysian businessman who owns Air Asia, who's got limitless pockets of money. They actually signed another player called Nico Kranjčar a few months ago, but I think Nico Kranjčar is now injured, so they had a desperate need for a flair skilled player with a bit of experience to play in the division below the top division, and somebody who would stand out. So, I think he's quite a good fit for the club. He signed an 18-month contract, so if Queen's Park Rangers go up as is expected, he should be back in the Premier League next year.
Now, has it been released, the details of the contract as far as money? Do you know how much he'll be getting paid?
I don't, but the fact that he's in the Championship means that Queen's Park Rangers were famed for overpaying for players.
Right.
They were a club that wanted to attract players. In the same way the Mariners have just shelled out a load of money for Robinson Cano from the Yankees because, they wanted to make a splash because they're not traditionally, one of the end-of-season clubs that everybody wants to play for. So they have to make their mark with money. So, Queen's Park Rangers last season, they signed a player called Christopher Samba, who was, he's a decent player, but they, were paying him £100,000 a week and they paid £10 million to get him from a club from Russia. And in the end, he wasn't that great.
Wow.
But they paid, they were famed for paying over the odds. The owner even said, because he was new to football, the agents took him for a mug and took a lot of money off him.
Usually owners don't admit that. Okay. So
yeah,
Yossi's going to make it pretty good money this year.
Yossi was shopping himself around looking for 60,000. If he's getting half of that from Queen's Park Rangers, I would be surprised. I get the feeling the contract will be laden with like bonuses if they get promoted. And I also think, if they come to the Premier League, there'll be an automatic rise in there. But I think for the rest of this season, he's going to be earning maybe 20 to 30,000 a week, which is still high for that division.
It's not bad. Last question, we'll leave you before we let you go. How close was Yossi to coming back to Israel, or was he not close at all?
Not at all. Not at all. Israel couldn't pay the money he was looking for. I think maybe when this contract's up, he'll come back for one last romantic hurrah.
Right.
But he's got his work permit signed off, and just to show his commitment to the club, he's told them that he's not available this weekend because he wants to go back to Israel and sort stuff out.
That's awesome.
They've signed a real gem, so he won't be available until next weekend.
If I had a job where I was getting 30,000 pounds, which would be about 120,000 shekels a week, I think I would show up for the first day of work. I don't think I would take off to sort stuff out.
It's about 160,000 shekels a week. I mean,
okay. All the more so.
It's sort of typical of this story. He carries around a reputation, and he knows the reputation, and he plays on it.
It just milks it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's good stuff. All right, Mark, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for giving us all the information, and we'll be in touch. Great story.
Speak to you soon.
All right, be well.
Bye-bye.
Mark Gorin telling us where the Dimona Diamond ended up. It's Queen's Park Rangers. He'll be making approximately 160,000 shekels a week. Enjoy, Yossi Benayoun. I guess the holdout worked out for you. We're going to take a musical break. On the other side, Israel fencing champion Maor Hatuel. This is Louis Live on TLV1.
חזק, קשה לי לראות, אפילו שעיניי פקוחות, נוסע הלילה לבד לצפון, כי בא לי לברוח. כל הבדיחות הדקות בחיוך שלך, יש אהבה, הכדור שזרקתי לסל כמעט ונכנס, אוי כמה חבל, נראינו כמו סוג משונל, יש בחורים אדישים לנשים ואני מנסה, גשם חזק, קשה לי לראות, אפילו
here on Louis Live on TLV1. If you want to follow the station on Twitter, you can do so at TLV1.fm. If you want to email me personally, that's arilouisshow@hotmail.com, ARILOUISSHOW@hotmail.com. This great music you're listening to is due in part to Tomer Gershman, who makes all the music for my show. So I want to say thank you to Tomer, and also thank you to Lior Peleg, who's producing tonight. And he just took a little bow, but he can't see it because it's radio. But he does a great job, as always, and has produced many of my shows. We just had a lot of fun with Mark Gordon talking about where Yossi Benayoun is going to. It's Queens Park Rangers. We're going to switch gears now and talk with a champion. He just recently won the gold medal in the World Cup in London in fencing. Please give a warm Louis Sly welcome to Maor Hatuel. Maor, how you doing out there?
Yes, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. So gold medal, we'll get into the specifics of winning that. But first, this is what I got to tell you, Maor. When I was a kid, I dreamt of being a football player, basketball player, baseball player. I didn't dream of becoming a fencer. It's not a sport a lot of kids dream and get into. So tell us, how did you get into fencing?
Great question. Since I was really young, I used to watch my older sister fencing. So the question wasn't if, but when I will start going to fencing workout as well. Besides, when your dad is the coach and your last name carries a long, rich fencing tradition, I think that I didn't have much choice.
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like it's a legacy type of thing. This is what you were born to do, destined to be.
Exactly.
So in fencing in Israel, I'm curious of what the training is like, because football players, basketball players usually train in the type of running, push-ups, sit-ups. What's training like for a fencer?
Well, it's really individual. Every coach has his own method. But my practice routine consists basically of two phases. The first one is one-on-one with my dad, with my coach. That works on my fencing skills, and I also do cardio and some weightlifting for my agility. The second phase consists practicing like skill by fencing with my teammates in my home club in Akko. I'm from Akko, by the way. Let's say that on a regular week, I train twice a day, 5 days a week, and between the workouts, I'm doing my bachelor degree in biology and computer science. So basically, I'm keeping my mind and my body busy.
All right, and we'll get to the championships a little bit, but I'm curious because with the commitments to fencing, do the people in your college give you some time off or give you a break on a test or a paper because you're involved with fencing so much?
Well, there is a lot of consideration. Sometimes they give me postponed, like in my exams, or they give me special terms when I have to be gone for competitions. The support, like there's two ways of support. I get funded for all my competition I attend, including full coverage of my travel expense. This is from the country, not from the university.
Right.
But if you're asking how it's fencing supported in Israel, so financially making a career from fencing isn't enough for a decent living.
And you got to have something on the side, and that's why you're in school to learn a profession.
Actually, what I'm always saying that I'm preparing not only for the Olympic Games, but also for the post-retirement phase, the day after. It's known as sometimes as a great crisis for many athletes.
Yeah, certainly it's a hard combination to juggle, but you're working on that right now. Now,
I do.
As far as the danger of fencing, because a lot of people see it, they think, oh, that's a dangerous sport. Tell us how dangerous it actually is to fence.
Well, in fact, it's the most less dangerous sport ever existed.
Okay.
I mean, there was one old case like 40 years ago that someone died, but this is the only case, and they made a lot of adjustments for the equipment. It has now some rules that need to work, so there's no accidents in this sport.
Okay,
it's
you're protected.
Really safe.
You're protected pretty well. You're wearing that body suit that keeps you safe. It's pretty solid. There's not going to be any problems.
Exactly. This bodysuit is really strong. It's made of Kevlar. It's a special material, fabric. It was used by a soldier, like from protection from bullets. So believe me, it's safe.
Okay, there you go.
Take my word for it.
All right. We're speaking with Maor Hatuel here on Louis Live until we won. Now let's talk about the championship, the gold medal you won in London. this is the World Cup. This is the best of the best fencers in the whole world, correct?
Indeed.
And you won the gold. Was this a goal of yours, like for a long, long time, a dream of yours to win the gold in this World Cup?
Definitely. It's in Israel we have two goals: to win the gold, and then to sound everyone our national anthem,
Right.
the Tikva. It was really excited.
And did you receive any? Were people pro-Israel? I mean, London's had its situations, but were people supportive of you on your journey to the gold?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay.
I think there's a really warm audience that loves Israel everywhere. I know there is both kinds of people, but I felt just the best.
And going into the final match, the gold medal match, how nervous were you going in? Was it more nerves, or was it you're calm and you say to yourself, this is what I'm supposed to do. I've trained for years for this, and I'm going to go do it?
Well, let me tell you something. My motto, before every competition, says, hope for the best, plan for the worst. So,
Right.
If we're looking not just the final bout, but the whole competition, thinking of beating over 170 fencers could be really difficult. The only way to accomplish that is by coming clean-minded and concentrating each fight at a time. About the last bout, when I was fencing the finals, the match was really tight. It was a really hard one. The only thought I had in mind in those moments was, I'm not going to get second. I'm not going to get second. And yes, sometimes you also need to be lucky. So Thomas Jefferson once said, the harder I train, the luckier I get.
Right. I like that. Luck finds the guy who works hard. I definitely believe in that. Last question we'll have for you, Maor. You just won the gold medal, but your focus is on the Olympics. That's about, 2.5 years and some change away. I mean, how do you focus for something that's that far away and not lose your focus because you just won the gold and did so well in London?
Well, Olympics is not every 4 years. It's every day. That's
right.
what I say. Every day you need to work hard. 2.5 years could be a really long time, but they could be zero time. So I'm working really hard on this goal to be on the 2016 in Rio. Besides my athletic goals, academic-wise, I want to start my master's degree before the Olympics. And other things I do, I want to keep coaching kids in order to keep the family tradition going.
That's great. That's the best thing I've heard in a long time. I like that it transfers to the next generation. So, Maor, we are out of time, but congratulations, my friend. Gold medal in the World Cup, and we're looking forward to you representing Israel in the Olympics. That's going to be great stuff.
Thanks a lot, Ari.
And after you get to the Olympics, we want to have you back on the show. That'll be the plan.
I would love that.
All right. Thanks, Maor. We're out there. We'll speak with you soon.
Bye-bye, Ari.
All right. Maor Hatuel here on Louis Live on TLV1. We're going to take a little break. After this break, we're going to have on Moshe Ponte, who is the president of Israel Judo. We're going to talk about Yarden Gerby's 6 Israeli titles. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's on the other side. This is Louis Live on TLV1.
Well, I remember this over a meal ago.
Said Tommy the cat is a real back clear over four matter named this little twin to his mighty throat. Many a fat alley rat met his demise while staring point blank down the cover's barrel. This awesome prowling machine. Truly a wonder of nature, this urban predator. Tommy the cat had many a story to tell, but it was a rare occasion such as this that he did.
Well, she keeps sliding down the alleyway like butter dripping off a hot biscuit. You're rolling the meat sandwich enough to arouse suspicion even the old. The target stumbled around the hot spot in those days. The sight was beyond belief. Many a head snapped up, he was triple takes. The vivacious feline made her way into the dells of the alleyway where the most virile young tabbits were known to hang out. They hung out in droves. Such a multitude of masculinity could only be found in one place, and there was
Back here on Lewis Live on TLV1, we've talked some soccer, also known as football. We've talked some fencing. We're now going to talk some judo with the president of the Israel Judo Federation, Moshe Ponte. Moshe, welcome to Lewis Live on TLV1.
Thank you.
Let's begin. Yarden Gerby won her sixth Israeli title. At 24 years old, she's one of the most dominant judo people that we've seen. Is she the best judo person, women's judo, since Yael Arad, in your opinion?
First of all, before she won the six times Israeli champion, she's she's the first in the rank list in the world.
Right,
She's
number one in the world.
Yes, number one in the world, and she also world championship.
Right, she won a world championship.
Yes, in Brazil, just before 6 months or 4 months. Yeah, in August, she won the world championship. She won one of the best judoka that become in Israel. You know, born in Israel. You know, it's we have Yael Arad before 20 years. Now we have a Germany that she won the world championship. She's the first woman that won the world championship. This is a great,
great honor.
Great honor for us, and great honor for Israel, and great honor for everybody. And it's a wonderful champion she did. And she's a great woman also. She's a great person. She's personal. She's a very, very nice woman, and she's one of the best women that I met in my life. Even I don't want to say except my wife. Yes?
There you go. Exactly. You got to save yourself there, Moshe. Can't get in trouble with the wife. All right. So this is what I'm curious about. Yarden's won 6 titles in a row. As you mentioned, number one in the world at her weight class, 63 kilo. Number one, she won a world championship. She's won a bronze and a silver in the European championships. What is she doing better than the other Israel judo people? Tell us about that. What's she doing differently?
Okay, she's dedicated to the goal. And the goal is take medal in the Olympic Games, and she will do anything for that. And she works hard about it. And she's also she's a good judoka. She's a good personality, and I think her coach Shani Ershko is one of the best coach in the world. And with the judoka Jerry, that she's a great woman, and her coach that he is a great coach. You can take both of them, and they are like a formula that going together to make her medalist in the Olympic Games, in the next Olympic Games in Rio. But she is the talent. She's very talented, and also she's working very hard. Very hard. She trained 3 times a day. It's about 6 hours or 7 hours a day. She's trained in judo, running, weightlifting. She's make everything to get a gold for Olympic Games in the Rio 2016. And it should be, I hope so, she will get the medal in the Olympic Games with her.
All right, last question we have for you. She's obviously keeping an eye on the Olympics, but that's about 2.5 years away. What's the next big competition coming up for Germany?
No, there is a lot of competitions in the world, but the next big competition is a European Championship. It will take place in April, and the next goal this year it will be again the World Championship. Every year we competing in the World Championship, and every year the biggest competition is the European and the World. That's the important competition in this year.
All right.
So,
Well, it's great stuff, Moshe. We really appreciate your work. I know it's very hard with what you do, and Yarden, what she does, she represents Israel on a world stage and does such a great job. Makes Israel very proud. So, congratulations to both of you, and we look
Thank
forward.
you.
We look forward to seeing more great things, Yarden, and especially a gold in the Olympics. We love to see that.
Thank you, and I hope to speak to you again
Yes.
in the next. Thank you.
We will speak soon, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, Moshe,
Yeah.
be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Moshe Ponte, who is the president of the Israel Judo Federation, talking about Yarden Jerby's 6th Israeli title. She's also ranked number 1 in the world in women's judo at 63 kilo. Again, that's number 1 in the entire world. So great stuff there. We're going to take a little break. On the other side, Adam Davis from the Ramat Sharon Hammers. This is Louis Live on TLV1. Back here on Louis Live on TLV1, and once again, this great music is thanks in part to Tomer Gershman, who makes this music for my show and for every show, and of course, the Orb Hedleg for producing tonight. Also want to give a shout out to Hila Gavron, who is the program director, and she got me Maor Hatuel and Moshe Ponte as guests, so I want to thank Hila as well. We're now going to talk some American football with a broadcaster as well, who broadcast with me on Thursday for Medalist Communications. That, of course, is Adam Davis. Adam, welcome to Louis Live on TLV1.
Hey, Ari, how's it going?
It's going great. So before we talk about your big football game coming up this Thursday and the team in general, how much fun did you have broadcasting the game with me on Thursday?
It was awesome. It was the first time I did that, and I think, I had a really great time. I enjoyed every second of it. It was a bit cold, but we had fun, I think.
Yeah, it was a rainy day. We were up on the rooftop, and you were heckled by some good friends of yours, correct?
I gave them a ride to the game, and they still heckled me anyway. But,
that's kind of cool.
it was my first time. Why not, right?
Yeah, why not? You got to earn your dues. They probably called you a rookie, all that kind of stuff. Now, the thing with that broadcast, it's gotten good hits on YouTube. At YouTube, it's over 600 hits, and that was in addition to playing on TV. So overall, it was a pretty good success, correct?
Yeah, definitely. All of us, I think, on the production team really want to do it again. I think it brought a lot of good exposure to the league, and hopefully we can get it going and make it a regular kind of thing. Yeah, and
also thanks to Judo as well. So hopefully we'll get that going. Me and you will do more games to come. Now, let's talk about that game. That game, the Rebels dominated. I lost track of my points. I think they're still scoring points, Adam, but I think they got to 83 and the Lions got to 22, something like that. It was about a 60-point blowout. Donnie Eastman, he was a little too much. Also, of course, we saw Z Harris. Give your analysis of the game that happened on Thursday.
It was the first game of the season for both of those teams. A lot of people around the league figured they were both going to be strong. It was going to be a tight game, and the Rebels just ran away with it. So they're definitely front runners going into the rest of the season for sure. The Lions, they didn't put up such a big showing, but they were without their head coach and one of their big rookies this year.
Right.
So they're, we're definitely not underestimating them when we play them this week.
All right, and let's talk about this week's game, because when a team just gets blown out, very embarrassed in front of the whole league, it was at Kraft Family Stadium on TV, they're going to want to take it out on someone, and the next opponent they get to try to take it out on is you guys. How much was that talked about in practice this week, that they're going to come pretty hard at you guys?
Yeah, exactly. That is our mindset. You know, we're itching to go because we haven't played a game yet this season, and we know that they're going to be ready for some redemption. So really what we were focusing on this week is just running the fundamentals, you know, working on our defense and our offensive plays, and just, you know, playing like we believe we can play, not worrying about what happened last week.
All right, and of course on this team, the team last year made it to the playoffs, lost in that tough Hail Mary game that we talked about numerous times on the show, so I won't make you relive that. But the team had a great turnaround last year. I mean, this was a team that didn't win a lot of games. Last year it did. It won 8 in the regular season, and a big part of that is Dr. Keith Noble, who also moonlights as he's a diplomat and moonlights as a football player. So talk about how much he adds to your Ramat Hasharon Hammers team.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, Keith is he's great. He brings a lot of experience. He knows the game of football. He's helped us out a lot on keeping us. He talks about, you know, he keeps us together as a team. He talks a lot about playing as a team, as a unit, and that football is not a single man sport. And I think, you know, in addition to Keith, also we have a really great coaching staff. So his experience plus the other coaches is really it's really helping us out.
He talked about changing the culture of to winning, because the culture before was losing. They were an expansion team. I remember back in the days when they fumbled, I think, 10 times in a game. I broadcasted a game against the Kings a few years ago. It was just kind of a losing culture. He talked about changing the mindset to a winning mindset. How does he go about doing that in practice and in the games?
That was his whole plan from the start. From the off season, we've just had a whole new Hammers way of looking at things, that we're going to, not that winning is everything, but that we're going to start a winning mindset, that we're going to play hard. We're going to show up to practice. People are going to take it really seriously. And everyone's kind of with that mindset moving forward, that we're not going to, take a step backwards and be a losing team again. Right now, we're thinking we're going farther than the first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Again, last year, 8 wins, first round of the playoffs. You're looking at potentially playing the Sabres had you won. Excuse me, you're not playing the Sabres. You would have played the Rebels because of the seeding. So you tasted the postseason. What was it like to taste the postseason? Again, I won't make you relive the game, but what was like to taste the postseason but not go further as you would have liked?
It was rough. It was rough because we know that we could have done better, and I think we just had a few kinks in our system that we didn't really work out near the end of the year. And we've definitely got all of that in mind, even though it was 8 months ago or whatever, but we're ready to not let those same mistakes happen. We're going to take every game by itself, not saying we're going undefeated and whatever. We're just going to try to take it one step at a time and win, when it counts.
Again, that's the great thing you could do in sports and in life in general. Learn from your mistakes. That's all you can really do about the mistakes. And as far as your particular position, you play offensive line. Obviously, you're a pretty big guy. Tell us about your football experience prior to the IFL, and then tell us how you got into the IFL.
When I came to Israel 8 years ago, I did what most Americans did during my year in yeshiva. I played in the flag football league at Kraft Stadium. So me and a bunch of friends played about 4 or 5 seasons there total. And we'd always heard about the IFL and playing tackle football, but we weren't really ready to make the jump. And then one day I was walking around Bar Ilan University about 14 months ago, and I saw a sign for the Hammers. And I called a friend of mine. I said, all right, let's call, and, maybe we'll go try out and we'll see what happened. And we showed up 2 days before the preseason started. And the Hammers told us that we don't do tryouts. If you're serious and you're committed, then you can be on the team. And the rest is history.
Wow.
This is my second season now. Yeah.
All right. So your experience was more flag football, and you said a jump. So do you admit that tackle football is a bit harder than flag?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Great.
I mean, no doubt about it. Definitely.
All right, good. Because sometimes I hear the flag people, oh, you don't understand. It's that you can. I'm like, no, it's not tackle.
No, it's completely different.
When someone's picking you up and throwing you to the ground, it's not the same type of thing. Now, your alignment, as I mentioned, how does that work with studying plays? I was always curious from a lineman's perspective, because if you're the quarterback, you got to know which way the wide receiver is going, or if it's a run play, you got to fake and so on. As a lineman, when you're studying plays, you have to learn how to push a guy in a certain way. Tell us what it's like to be part of those plays as a lineman.
Well, the one thing about playing a line, especially offensive line, is that it's no reward position.
Right.
You know, when you do something right, no one cares, and when you do something wrong, it's like the entire game is your fault.
Right.
So it's really, we got one block missed here or there, and it could ruin an entire play. So really, for us, we don't have a ton of different plays that we have to know. It's pretty much where to block, whether it's a pass or a run, and we got to focus on that. But we're still working on it. It takes a lot of hard work because we have to be a unit. It's not individual like a quarterback or a wide receiver. So it's taken us some time.
And last few minutes we have with you, are there other linemen in the NFL that you look at and kind of model yourself? Because a lot of people do that. They go, I want to be like him. Are there any favorite offensive linemen you have in the NFL, or do you just kind of say to yourself, I'm going to be the first Adam Davis?
No one specific, but really what I've been looking at is trying to watch a lot of NFL games and see what the centers do, because they say in the NFL it's a lot of smarts in that position also. It's not just about size or speed. And I'm trying to look at, NFL centers and see how they direct the play before it happens and what they're doing to make smart decisions. And that's really what I'm basing it off of.
All right. Now, you guys are playing the Lions Thursday. That game's at Kraft, or is it you guys have it home?
No, it's at our home field in Ramat Sharon.
All right, Ramat Sharon. So, everyone, if you're looking for a live football game, the Lions are going to be hungry. They're going to come at the Hammers pretty hard. Hammers are a good ball club as they made the playoffs last year. Go to Ramat Sharon. And last question we have left with you, if anyone out there listening wants to try out for your team, or not try out, be a part of it, if they're willing to commit, tell us how they can get in touch with the team.
If you want, you can find us on Facebook, or you can contact me or Keith or another one of our coaches, Adi Tota. We're always looking for more, guys that are going to show commitment and play hard for the team. So if you want to join the Hammers, give us a call.
All right, Adam, great stuff in this interview and great stuff on the broadcast. I hope we do a lot more of them, and we're looking forward to that. So good luck on Thursday. Enjoy the game, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Take care.
Well. All right.
Bye.
That was Adam Davis for the Ramat Sharon Hammers. We're going to take a little break. On the other side from Israel Lacrosse, it's Samuel Adler. This is Louis Live on TLV1. Back here on Lewis Live on TOV1, and we're going to get things started with our next segment. From Israel Lacrosse, let's give a warm Lewis Live welcome to Samuel Adler. Samuel, how you doing out there?
Pretty good. How are you today?
Doing great, and you have a real interesting story. I want you to share it with the audience. You are here teaching through Moshe, and you moonlight as a lacrosse player. So tell us a bit about how that worked out.
Yes, I am actually currently on a Moshe program, which is through the Israeli government. It's through the education ministry, so it's all funded through them. What we have is 26 people from North America, Canada, and the U.S. Here in Israel. I'm currently in Netanya, and we are teaching English to elementary school kids from ages, 9 to 12 years old. So it's very interesting. And then I also have lacrosse background and teaching kids English through sports, and it's been an experience so far.
Let's talk about your lacrosse background. You played in college at Potsdam State. What was the level of competition like out there in New York?
New York is, I personally think it's the best competition in all of the United States. It's really where the game has flourished. We see the game is really growing out all over the country, but the real hotbeds are in New York and Maryland and the Northeast. So we really have those good crop of players who've been playing a long time, and I played at the Division III level. And, the competition has been great. Really had some great games, some really, really great players to come out.
And you played midfield there. Are you still playing midfield with the Israel Lacrosse team?
I am. It's been a great experience so far playing with all these players who've come over here to pretty much spread the game. Also playing with a lot of native Israelis and people who've made Aliyah to come over here, and they have other jobs and whatnot, but they definitely still love the game. And it's been great competition so far, and playing in Tel Aviv. I play for Netanya. It's been a really great competition, really close games. I'm having a great time so far.
Where do you think the sport of lacrosse is headed to? I mean, Scott Neese has done a great job in just a few years. You've gotten games in world competitions, and you've gotten countries like Turkey to come and play in Ashkelon, these type of things. So where do you think the sport is realistically going to the next few years?
In Israel, as we've seen abroad in a lot of the countries, coming up in the World Games, there's going to be almost 50 countries playing the sport of lacrosse, and they will be represented in the World Games in this July. And as you see, the sport is growing everywhere. And here in Israel, we really see that kids they haven't seen the sport before, but they're so intrigued by it. It's a lot different than, soccer is king here. And we want lacrosse to be the number 2 sport.
You're shooting for number 2. You guys acknowledge. Well, I just want to say, you guys acknowledge that soccer is number 1. You're not going to try to compete with it, but your goal is number 2.
Yeah, our goal one day possibly be number 1, but for right now, we want kids with lacrosse sticks in their hands, having that option to be. Oh, I could play soccer, or I could play lacrosse. In my opinion, I think they should be playing lacrosse because it is a great sport. It's the fastest sport on 2 feet. It's hard hitting. It puts all those combinations of great sports like hockey, football, and the strategy of soccer and basketball all together to make one great sport that I have fallen in love with over the years, and I really want to bring to kids here in Israel.
It really is a combo sport. I mean, anyone out there, if you're not familiar with lacrosse, look up Jim Brown. Jim Brown played lacrosse. He's considered the greatest football player ever, and he also played lacrosse, right?
Yeah, Jim Brown was a great football player at Syracuse, and he also played lacrosse for Syracuse, and he was arguably one of the best athletes to ever step on a field. Guy could really do it all. So he brought the modern game to where it is, the athleticism and the hard hitting fact of football, and he really brought it to the sport of lacrosse and made it that physical game that like so many kids have fallen fallen in love with in America and hope to fall in love with and are falling in love with in Israel.
All right, last question before we let you go. If anyone out there listening wants to get involved with Israel Lacrosse in any way, volunteer in some way, play, what have you, what's the best way they can get in contact?
You can go log on to our website. It is lacrosse.co.il. You can get in contact with Scott Neese. He would love to hear from you. The more people we get involved in spreading the game, the better. The more kids that we're going to be able to reach, the more kids that are going to be able to fall in love with the sport. And I know it will become a great sport here in Israel. And a lot of kids will want to play it and bring it into the future. And one day, we'll have so many kids playing and have that representation at the world stage that we really want. We really want to change kids' lives through the sport.
All right. Great stuff, Samuel. Thank you so much for being on Louis Live, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That was Samuel Adler from Israel Lacrosse. Quick break. On the other side, Callie Dave to talk about Omri Caspi's visit to the White House. This is Louis Live on TLV1. Back here on Louis Live on TLV1. Very fitting that we have this song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's a California song by a California group. And on the line to talk about a little NBA action as far as the White House is concerned, Callie Dave. Callie Dave, welcome to Louis Live on TLV1.
Wonderful to be here. How you doing, Mr. Smith?
I'm doing great, and let's get right into it. A very interesting story with Omri Caspi going to the White House. He went last Thursday night. And Callie Dave, tell us why that's a problem in regards to, he was supposed to light Hanukkah candles, which I guess he did, but he went on Thursday night. Tell us why that's a problem.
Well, a day after Hanukkah, and I don't know, it all seems a bit of a masquerade for me, like Obama's trying to make up for something. I won't go into it, but kind of like the token invite is what he made to Omri on the ninth night of Hanukkah. So personally, it feels a bit unauthentic to me. So I'm not quite sure I buy into the whole Obama being a friend thing. So who knows?
Yeah,
but Omri sure had a good time.
Omri had a good time, sure. But the ninth day of Hanukkah, lighting the candles, I never really heard of such a thing. I don't know if you light a ninth candle or what exactly you do. But in your opinion, Callie Dave, is there a better Israeli to go to the White House? Maybe Bar Raffaelli or someone like this instead of Omri Caspi?
Well, you know what? The truth is, I was thinking we can get some concessions out of Obama by having, Cassie play some one-on-one with him. He's a big basketball guy. So,
right.
That's what I was thinking is send Cassie down there. He's the best envoy we got. At least he has some skills.
Right.
He could get Obama to maybe give some stuff up in some one-on-one. Maybe he gave him a horse around the world. Who knows? But, personally, I felt it was a nice gesture, like I said. But that's really all it was, a token gesture. And, Caspi, it's good for him to get his name out there a little bit, and also for Israeli basketball, because Caspi's really having a breakout year, shooting about 43%, not playing with Dwight Howard with the Rockets, and just incredible numbers coming out of Caspi now that he's actually getting time on the floor.
Yeah, a big problem he's had is that he's been kind of a journeyman type when it comes to minutes, not getting a lot of playing time. He's on a team that could potentially play for a title, and Caspi said, I thought I'd come to White House as a champion. He didn't come as a champion, but he may come if the Rockets keep doing improving and keep getting better.
Yeah, in this Western Conference, Dwight Howard being on that team, the Rockets really they're looking like a powerhouse. So who really knows what's going to happen? Kobe's just coming back to the Lakers. Yeah, got to mention that, being from California. And, unfortunately, his first game back, he only put up 8 points, but he had a nice solid game across the board. But it'll be interesting to see down the stretch how Caspi steps into that elevated role now that he's getting more minutes and they're putting a bit more responsibility on his shoulders. He's got to be stepping up a little bit more, and it's good to see. It's good to see that, and makes you proud to see an Israeli actually stepping up in the NBA like that.
Omri's 25 years old. This kind of needs to be his time to break out. 28 usually basketball prime, so he needs to really. This is kind of his time, either to make it or break it in the NBA. I think. Do you agree with that?
Surely being with his third team, it's kind of that make it or break it year, as you said. And now that he's getting the chance, he's got to prove, he's got to show why he was drafted, the first Israeli player drafted in the NBA, as we all know. And I think he's going to show it. I'm pretty sure he's just going to continue going from strength to strength. And this White House journey, it only proves to show, at least he's getting a bit more recognition now. I think he's a great player, but it's all about being in the right situation, and the best player being in the wrong situation is not a great player. So Caspi now being with Dwight, it could be good. So we'll see what happens.
Last few minutes we have left with you. I like the nice touch because Omri was allowed to bring one person to the White House. He brought his mama. What'd you think about that?
Well, you got to bring the Ima. You got to show kavod to the mother, and.
Yeah.
I think from what I heard, she had more fun than he did, and I would assume so. He was probably a bit ambushed there with Obama, loving basketball, but she was probably taking it all in and enjoying the White House-made latkes.
Yes, it was actually a perfect timing because his mom happened to be traveling to the U.S. for Hanukkah to spend time with her son, and then this invite.
That's a classy move.
Yeah,
classy move.
This invite happened, and he said, "If of course I'm going to take my mom." She happened to be there, and it was great timing, so it worked out. Callie, Dave, last question we have left for you. You're obviously a huge Lakers fan. If the Lakers play the Rockets in the conference finals, even though it's Omri Caspi, who do you root for?
Oh, I got to go with my Lakers,
right.
but with Omri having breakout games.
Okay, I like that. That's kind of a double type of thing. So, Omri Caspi doing good stuff, making it to the White House, having a breakout year, as Callie Dave talked about. And Callie Dave, we're up against it, but thank you for being.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's good to be on.
It's good, and next time we'll give you more time, and we'll try to talk more Lakers if we can.
Wonderful. All right. Have a good night.
All right, be well.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Callie Dave talking about the Omri Caspi story. Again, Omri went to the White House, took his mom, went on the ninth day of Hanukkah, if there is such a thing. I don't know what bracha you say on the ninth day, but he apparently lit the menorah as to Obama's asking. That was last Thursday night. So he makes it to the White House. There's been some Jewish athletes in the last few years to make it to the White House. Dimitri Salita has been a guest on this program, one of the athletes there, Omri Caspi. And anytime that a Jewish member's on a championship-winning team obviously goes to the White House as well. Brad Osmus could do that this year if the Tigers win the World Series. That's going to conclude our show. Once again, I want to thank Tomer Gersherman for making the music. All the music you heard throughout the program is thanks to Tomer, so thank you, Tomer, for doing that. Of course, Lior Peleg, who produced the show, and made some phone calls, even though I got a number or two wrong on one of them, but nonetheless, Lior did that, so I appreciate that. And, of course, Hila Gavron for booking Maor Hatuel and Moshe Ponte, who came on the program, and we had a great time. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Of course, let's go through our guests and thank them. Mark Gordon, who talked about the Dimona Diamond, and Yossi Benayoun going to Queens Park Rangers. He is signed for 18 months. That holdout worked to his benefit. He'll make about 160,000 shekels a week. Maor Hatuel, who won a gold medal in the World Cup in London, who says, "You don't train for the Olympics in 2.5 years, you train for it in every day." Also quoted Thomas Jefferson saying, "The harder I work, the luckier I get. I'm going to use that on my Facebook. We then switch gears and talk judo with Moshe Ponte, talking about Yarden Gerby's 6 Israeli title. She's also ranked #1 in the world in the 63-kilo division of women's judo. We then spoke with Adam Davis of the Rata Sharon Hammers, who's ready for Thursday night's game against the Lions, and we'll see what they could do. The Lions didn't have Yunahu Mashan last week. This week they probably will, so we'll see if that makes a difference. He is the coach of the Lions. And Samuel Adler, who plays for Israel Lacrosse, moonlights as a lacrosse player in the daytime, teaches English to 9 to 12-year-olds. And, of course, Callie Dave talking about Omri Caspi going to the White House with his mama. Stay tuned for a lot of great program, a lot of great stuff. But that's it for tonight. God bless and good night.